G'day listeners, Danny Crouch here from Choose Your Chapter. I'm the listing coach and today we're going to talk to Kelly Petering. We're going to learn to lead. So I'd like to welcome a friend of mine. Kelly, how are you today?
I'm fantastic, thank you, Danny. Very good.
That's the way. That's the way. Now we're going to learn a little bit about leading, or leading in the workplace, or leading in the family home, I suppose, or wherever the leadership is. I'm not sure. That's what we're going to learn. So our listeners are going to listen eagerly. So to get started, what would you say is the main problem or issue with people not leading, for want of a better word?
Not leading. Okay. What is the main problem? I find it's a lot about responsibility and people not taking enough responsibility for whether it's at work, in their job, in the home, wherever it might be, not taking enough responsibility for the actions that they take, the responses that they give. Yeah, responsibility. That's what I think
cool.
is the biggest thing that is missing.
Okay. So who's at risk? I mean, I ask this question quite often. People just say, oh, everyone. But who's at risk of not leading, or who will benefit from learning about leadership?
I think it's people who want to step up and really make a difference in the world. So it's not necessarily everyday person. It's the people who are, say, in a position where they are influencing others. So whether that's in their job, maybe they're in a management role or a supervisor role, or in their business, if they've got staff, clients, I think those are the people where it really matters. That's my focus. Also in the home as well, so parents is a big thing, teachers. So I mean, leadership covers a massive space. For me personally, I'm focusing on business owners and also people in the workforce.
Okay. So is there a particular age bracket or a demographic or a city or a place that you associate with these sort of things, these people?
My focus is in Australia, but I don't think there's a specific demographic. I think the younger that you can learn these skills, the better. So especially for people who are finishing, say, high school or even coming up through high school, I think for them to be able to learn these skills is fantastic and is really going to set them up well for entering the workforce or starting their own business, wherever they want to take their life. I think these skills are highly relevant for young people, as well as people who are already established in the workforce.
Cool. So what will they gain from overcoming this problem, or understanding the concept? So it's sort of solution focused. How will they, what will they gain from it?
The biggest thing, I believe, is communication. I think that's where, throughout leadership, and I know I said responsibility before, and I think that's got a lot to do with it, but communicating, taking it upon yourself to communicate effectively. So if somebody doesn't understand what's being said, I take that upon myself to say, okay, well, I haven't communicated properly. How can I communicate better for that person to understand what I'm trying to get across? So it's taking the responsibility for communicating properly so that every single person that you speak to can understand what you're trying to get across, your message.
Awesome. So how are they at risk? What factors contribute to the problem, or why is it really important to solve this problem? Or do you understand what I mean? So how will this concept transform a person's life if they all of a sudden have leadership or responsibility?
Yeah, okay. So again, it will depend on what position they're in at the time. especially for people who are either running a team or if they have people that they are coordinating. It's going to really help them get to know how they work best, their strengths, and how their team works as well. So understanding individually each team member and how they can use each team member's strengths to the best of their ability so that their team can perform at their highest potential. So it's really about understanding how the team work together and being able to communicate effectively with each individual team member so that they can get the best out of their team.
Yeah, I can hear you. I hear you. We're listening, we're listening.
Cool.
So how does a person first notice or recognise they've got a problem with leadership or they're not taking enough responsibility or they're not stepping up? When's it relevant in their life? You sort of touched on when they're at school, but when can they recognise it if they are listening right now?
If they are listening right now, it will be about the feedback that they're receiving. So whether it's that people are not understanding what they're talking about, just on an everyday basis, whether it's in meetings or even just in general conversations. If they don't feel that the other person is really getting what they're saying, there's a lot of miscommunication. I think that's a really big clue. So feedback is really important. Listening for the feedback and being aware of how people are perceiving your skills. So that would be the first thing. I think it's also often not the individual that will go, oh, well, I need to improve my leadership skills. It will often be the other people around them that think, oh, okay, well this person could be a fantastic leader. They just need to improve in a few different areas, but maybe they're not quite aware of it yet. So again, that comes into the feedback, really listening and taking on board the things that other people are saying around you, because often you don't know unless you've gone through, say, specific like strengths analysis, things like that. If you haven't done that before, often you're not quite sure how you go about, improving yourself or where you need to improve.
Mm. Yeah, good. That sort of leads into probably my next question. So where would a person be mentally or physically or emotionally when this sort of lack of responsibility affects them?
Where would they be physically, emotionally? I think often when people receive feedback, if they're not aware of some of the skills that myself or yourself teaching through coaching, I think if they're not aware of some of the empowering beliefs and the things that we speak of, that often when they do receive feedback that might be constructive, so constructive criticism or constructive feedback, they might take that to heart and take that personally. So often when they do get that feedback, it's them going, okay, well, I'm not good enough, or I need to do better. How can I be better? And so they are sometimes in that position where it's like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not strong enough, whatever that might be.
Mm. Sort of like they don't belong.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're not in the right place. They're not fit for the job. They might be thinking something like that.
Mm. Well, it ticks the boxes of 2 out of the 3 universal fears that we talk about to our clients, doesn't it?
Yeah,
the fear
yeah,
of not
for sure.
belonging and the fear of not being good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Really cool. It all sort of resonates and comes together, doesn't it? So what contributes to the main problem or the main issue? What's the main contributor?
In regards to leadership, what's the main contributor? Look, I think lack of communication and that responsibility, they are the 2 major factors working together. they're the major contributors that will put someone in a place where they are either not doing their job as well as they could, or maybe not inspiring people as much as they would like to be. So when you've got the skills to be able to communicate really effectively and that actually inspire your team or the people around you to take action, then it's those things that bring you up as a leader. Not sure if I quite answered that question properly.
Yeah, you did. It's interesting. I was possibly thinking in a different direction where I'm guessing, and correct us if there's a different way to look at it, I'm guessing a lot of people would go to answer that question as, well, my parents didn't teach me responsibility, or the teachers at school didn't teach me responsibility, or my boss doesn't look after me, or I wasn't mentored properly. What I'm hearing is this is personal responsibility. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100% personal responsibility. One of the beliefs that I've taken on board over the last few years is that I am 100% responsible for everything that happens. Whether or not that is true on every single level, I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me, but that's my belief, which inspires me to take more action and makes me step up. Because if I'm responsible for everything that happens around me, then I'm going to put in more effort, and I'm going to have that ability to change the things around me.
Well, yeah, so outside of yourself, how have other people tried to deal with this? I mean, you've given us some great examples there. How can other people to overcome this lack of responsibility and gain responsibility and want to lead? How have they done that in the past?
How have they overcome it? That's a great question. I mean, I think there are quite a lot of programs within organisations and even within schools, like high school, where you can go and learn skills, communication skills, how to step up, things like that. Apart from that, really, I think it's a lot about being willing to take that on board yourself. And for some people, they're not. And yeah, I think it really does. It comes back to the individual, whether or not they're prepared to take that step outside of their comfort zone, which most leadership positions you'll find you will be outside your comfort zone at one point or another. And I think a lot of people may shy away from that. Especially in Australia, we've got the tall poppy syndrome, and you find people want to stick with the crowd, and it goes back to the belonging thing. Everyone wants to belong. It's one of our biggest fears, not belonging.
This is really cool. I'm enjoying this, as I always do. I love listening.
Yeah, me too.
So how hasn't it worked, and how has it worked when people are trying to overcome this lack of responsibility or this need and desire to lead?
Can you just repeat that question again? How?
When others are trying to deal with this lack of responsibility, or when they're aspiring to become leaders, how hasn't it worked, and how has it worked?
Okay. So when it hasn't worked is people giving up, is people going, oh, it's too hard. I didn't realize that, I was really going to have to put myself out there. I was possibly going to have to go through failures, most likely have to go through failures or whatever you want to call it, making a mistake. Mm-hmm. And when they think, oh, you know what, I would much rather just go back and be told what to do and, be in that little box, in the comfort of where they've come from. And when it does work is for the people who start to see results really quickly and see how they can actually impact others, how they can inspire others to take action.
Yeah, cool. A phrase came to mind, and I'm guessing it applies here. You can just change the words. Winners never quit and quitters never win. You could almost say leaders never quit and quitters never lead.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's it. It's the people who stick it out, even when, you know, times are really tough. You know, stuff's hitting the fan, and it's those people who stick around and say, you know what, this is my responsibility. I'm here to take the lead. I'm here to see everyone through this. That's when the true leaders come out. When it's easy, you know, anyone can do that.
Again, I'm guessing, but on an educated guess, that leaders love it tough. That's the challenge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they love a challenge.
Yeah.
They've got to love a challenge.
Yeah, really cool.
Because any leadership role is going to be challenging.
So what can be done better? What steps can a person follow to solve this problem? How can they create a better experience?
Well, I think for those people who have gone through the first Choose Your Chapter module, I think that is a perfect place to start, looking at what is your why and what inspires you to lead others, what inspires you to be better. So really getting clear on why it is that you're wanting to take on a leadership role or wanting to step up. So getting clear around why that is. I think that's a great place for everyone to start, which obviously you know, being that's the module 1. And then I think the second thing is to take responsibility, as I've already mentioned, 100% responsibility for the results that you get and for your response to situations. That's really, really important. And then the third thing I think is to be really focused. So to narrow down what it is that you're trying to achieve and get really clear on what needs to be done to get there. So I love the wildly important goals, the WIGs from the 4 disciplines of execution. I absolutely love that, and I think that's a great model to really get clear on what it is that you're working towards as a leader, whether that's within an organization, within a business, wherever you are, you know, a community group, wherever it is that you're taking on that responsibility, to get really clear on what the focus is that you need to help your team to achieve that particular goal. So I think they're the three key things that are really important as a starting point to really set yourself up well as a leader.
Brilliant. So just to recap, and I'm not sure if you mentioned this, so start with Why is Simon Sinek, and that's his book. Most of our listeners have read that book, or they've at least watched his TED Talk. And then the other one was the 4 disciplines of execution. That's Sean Covey and Chris McChesney, I think it is. The 4DX model. Yeah, 2 awesome books. Love them.
Fantastic.
Okay. Now this is one of my favourite questions because I'm curious to know who mentors are and who people look up to, and I think a lot of our listeners like relating to someone who's been or through it or something like that. So who has been successful in solving this problem? What characteristics, values, experiences do they have? So if someone's listening today, and can you think of someone who's been through this that they may know and the sort of characteristics and values that they have?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I think a great example, which I'm hoping everybody who's listening will know, is Nelson Mandela. I think he is one of the pivotal leaders in the world throughout history. And I think his determination, again, that 100% responsibility. Actually, I was watching the movie about him a couple of weeks ago, and to just see what he has been through in his life and his mindset, how he was able to push through those really tough times and still be such a powerful leader. You know, however long he was in jail for, to come out of that with the idea that he was there to make the change. He was there to inspire his people to create a better South Africa. And he was prepared to do what it takes, whatever it took. You know, when it was being in jail for that long and sacrificing for his family, sacrificing for the people that he wanted a better future for, sacrificing pretty much everything that he had. You know, wasn't there for his you know, when his mother passed away, things like that, because of his true passion and vision, his absolute vision for what South Africa could become. And so I think the qualities that he possesses, as I said, responsibility, action, the amount of action that he was able to inspire, not just within himself, but his group of leaders, to be able to inspire action within them, even while they were, you know, in jail. And also that he was just prepared to do absolutely whatever it took to make that change.
Wow, mesmerising. Sorry, I go into hypnosis mode. I listen to your voice, and most of our listeners have heard your voice before, so I haven't recognised. You do a lot of videos for our website. Yeah, I can listen to you talk for days. I've lost my train of thought now.
I have had quite a lot of training in voice, so
yeah,
it's been handy every now and again. Yeah.
All right, back on track. How does this problem or issue relate to other concepts or other ideas?
When you say other ideas, what specifically do you mean there?
Well, if you're not a leader, if you don't take responsibility, how can it affect other parts of your life?
Yeah, okay. Well, let's look at not taking responsibility for starters. In any area of your life, if you're not taking responsibility for the results that you're getting, you're giving your power away. So even for an example, say, let's say, you know, somebody trying to lose weight, simple example. If they are blaming other people, oh, it's not my fault, it's my genes, it's, you know, it's, you know, the gym's closed, or it's raining outside, or whatever the excuse is, whatever they're blaming, if they're not taking responsibility for the result that they have achieved, which is excess weight, if they're not taking responsibility for that, then they have no power to change it. But as soon as they say, okay, well, the only person who can change this is me, then they can say, okay, what can I do to change? Because it's only when they take responsibility that they can create that change for themselves. So that's just an everyday example. And I think that the responsibility, it filters through your whole life, whether it's raising children, whether it's health and fitness, work, even going on holidays. So I think it's absolutely, it's a really important thing for people who want to create any kind of change within their life. That's a really, really important factor.
So how does it relate to other areas of their life, like motivation and their strengths and values and beliefs, and confidence and self-belief?
Yeah, okay. That's a great question. So especially, yeah, confidence, self-belief, and motivation. If those things are lacking, then taking responsibility and stepping up as a leader, learning more about yourself, that's automatically going to empower you, raise your self-belief, raise your levels of motivation, because you can see that now you're in charge. You're in charge of your own life. Once you take responsibility, take that step up, it gives you the power. And that in turn filters down through the other areas of your life, brings up the motivation, the self-belief. So yeah, it definitely has an impact.
So how can, moving into the future, if we've got listeners here now wanting to focus on their future and become leaders, how can them not leading be thought about or applied to their future? What's going to happen if they don't do it?
Yeah, if they don't do it, most likely they'll stay exactly where they are. Most likely. It's unless they have other people around them pushing them forward, most likely they will stay exactly where they are. And even if they do have other people pushing them forward, their personal or professional progression is going to stay stagnant. So it's about really making that choice, making that decision within yourself to say, you know what, I have what it takes within me to step up and to be able to influence people in a way that really makes a difference.
Yeah, really cool.
Did that answer the question?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely. So what's the most useful thing to understand about the concept of leadership?
The most useful thing to understand is being able to communicate effectively. And I think the best way to describe that is going back to, let's say, Communication 101, where you learn that 7% of communication is the words that you use. 37 or 38% is the tonality of your voice. And the rest, huge, 55% is your body language. So if you think about it in that sense, communication, well, it's not just the words that you say, which a lot of people think it is. It's those three factors combined. So if there's any kind of mismatch going on within your communication, then your message isn't going to get across as effectively as it could. So it's about becoming really aware of how you speak, so your tonality, your how your voice sounds. Great tip is to actually record your voice and see how it sounds to other people. I found that very, very useful. And the other thing would be your body language, is to get really comfortable within yourself, because when you're not comfortable, that comes through in your body language, and it shows uncertainty. And when you're uncertain as a leader, that just pushes you down. It almost degrades you when your body language is coming across as uncertain. So it's about getting really comfortable within your body, within your own skin, and showing that. So I suppose a good little exercise to, just as an example, if you're, say you're sitting down right now and you were to slump your shoulders and kind of hunch over, you know, what's that showing? What's that showing to somebody else? Maybe you're bored, maybe you're upset, maybe you're sad. But if you're to sit up really tall and straight and, you know, raise your chin a little bit and look up, what does that say to people? How does it make you feel? It makes you feel so much more confident, so much more certain. And that really comes across in your body language to other people. So I think that is probably the best tip in regards to communication, is becoming really aware of how you use those three things: your words, your tonality, and your body language, and how they affect communication.
Wow, super inspiring. You should be a leadership coach. Oh. Oh, okay. So let's find out a little bit more about who Kelly Petering is. So obviously, yeah, we've got there you're a leadership and voice coach with Diamond Standards, and obviously a lot of our listeners have already heard your voice before. They're now realising who you are, and they're putting a face to your voice. I hope that you don't mind that.
No, that's absolutely fine.
I might stop you in the street, so I'm just going to turn this down. Oh, there we go. Oh, if I ever mentioned, Choose Your Chapter Facebook page. We launched it a few weeks ago, or a couple of months ago now. But here's one we prepared earlier, as they say. So diamondstandards.com.au. So diamondstandards.com.au. diamondstandards.com.au. All right. So tell us a little bit about what's going on here, Kel.
Sure. So this is the entry point to a membership site that I run called Diamond Standards, Developing Outstanding Leaders. So if people come to this page, they can pop their name and email address in just below the fold there to jump in and grab the 7 Essential Tools book. And that goes through a bit about mindset, goal setting, decision-making strategies, emotional intelligence, core needs, cause and effect, and a bit of behavioural profiling. So that's a really, really great tool for you to have a look through and just start to get a bit of a taste of some of the things that we speak about throughout the Diamond Standards program. So the actual program it's a 6-module program, and it's tailored to the individual's needs. So whether that's a business or an organisation, I generally work within groups, and so whether it's you've got 10, 15, 20 people within a team that you want to put through the program, then I will tailor that to suit your needs. At the moment, I'm running a 12-week program with 12 participants, and they are working through each module over 2 weeks. They also have group training and one-on-one coaching throughout that 12 weeks. So it's a really comprehensive program and takes people who want to step up as a leader, or people who are already in a leadership role who really want to excel their skills, take that to the next level. It takes them through some fantastic tools and strategies that they can take away and implement right there and then as they're learning it.
So I know you're in WA, in Western Australia. You only look after clients in your town, or what's the situation?
No, absolutely not. The town I'm in is only about 700 people, so I'd be pretty hard done by if I just looked after them. No, this program is designed so that it's completely flexible. So at the moment, out of the 12 participants, I've got some from Melbourne, some from Sydney, a couple from Queensland, a couple from WA, so all over the country, and everything is run either online or over the phone. So it's really nice and flexible. They can log in as they choose to the online program, and then we have a webinar every 2 weeks and then a one-on-one call the following week.
So they could be anywhere in the world?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. As long as they can speak a nice bit of English, then we're good.
Or you're just trying to keep this in-house and just only teach leadership in Australia so we can take over the world?
I like that. No, it's definitely, it's not Australia specific, but my focus and my passion is about Australia. But if I've got interested parties in the US or the UK or Ireland or wherever they might be, then I'm definitely open to communicating with them and seeing what we can do together.
Okay, awesome. So how do they get in touch with you? Obviously, they put their email address in here at diamondstandards.com.au. Is that the best way to reach you, or do they send you an email?
Yep. that's the best way to reach me. If they want to send me an email directly, they can contact me at kelly@diamondstandards.com.au. That will get straight to me, and yeah, I'll reply to any emails that I get sent.
Okay, so it's KELLY@diamondstandards.com.au, or of course you can find Kel in the chooseyourchapter.com.au website, so she'll have her own page there with the links and all that sort of stuff. So you can always send it to info@chooseyourchapter.com.au, and we'll pass on any information to Kel as well.
Perfect.
Well, awesome. So is there anything else you want to share with us? I mean, that's absolute gold. Love that. I'm sure the listeners have.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this interview. Thank you so much for allowing me to share what it is that I'm working on at the moment. Really appreciate it.
Well, you've shared a lot with us, and you've shared everyone with the videos, and we really appreciate it. And thank you very much for spending the time with us today. And we loved listening to you. So all the best, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, there we go, guys. That's Learning to Lead with Kelly Petering, the Voice and Leadership Coach from diamondstandards.com.au. And as always, you're listening to Danny Crouch, the Listening Coach from Choose Your Chapter. So great to talk to you, great to listen to Kelly, and we will see you next time. All the best. Ciao for now.